Let me know when you see it.
Oh, let me turn my damn ringer off.
Oh, can somebody do a favor and screenshot us so I can add it to my post to later today? Appreciate it. Everybody smile at the screen.
Wait, okay, hold on. Let me do it again.
Got it?
Got it.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, get your watch parties and stuff set up.
Okay. Yada 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 yada.
I can't.
Yes.
Hello, she killed it. She killed it.
She killed it. That's great.
Killed it.
I love that.
She actually did. She did.
She was getting it.
I watched it a couple of times
You watched it a couple times.
by myself and
Right, I'm like, Shell Bell know this?
I'm sure
by
you watched
myself
it a
and
couple
with her.
times.
I watched it a couple of times by myself, and then I watched it with her.
Sure you did. Hey, what's up, y'all? This your girl Dizzy, your hostess of the podcast What You Got To Say. I have got my crazy co-host in the building. What's up, Miss Cool Candice?
What up, y'all? It's time to chop it up.
What's up, Mr. Cabana Blaq?
Hey, I'm that dude.
What's up, Miss Kela Mahogany?
Hey, y'all.
And what's up, Mr. Tyrone Greggory?
I'm a lesbian.
Hallelujah for lesbians.
What is wrong?
What?
No.
Why?
I just wanted to go where he was gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
I told Kela I'm a feminist today.
Here we go, straight out. Well, you could be a feminist and not be a lesbian.
Why you gotta be a whole? Like you gotta be a whole woman.
Nah, I'm not. Nah.
What?
Hold on, bro. Hold on.
I'm just saying.
What we not gonna do is that.
I'm just saying.
But then I said I'm not a feminist.
You're not.
Okay, and what's up? Oh yeah, I did. What's up, Tyrone Gregory? He's the one that threw us off track. Anyway, so today our conversation today is about business. So last week, we put on our page asking individuals, "What do you want us to talk about?" And so we had an entry from Mr. Marcus Dupree. What's up, Marcus? And he said, "I would like to learn about starting a business, maintaining a business. Can we talk about marketing, so on and so forth?" And so we were like, you know what? That sounds like it's good for the cause. So let's go ahead and do it. So I am going to start this entire show with a disclaimer that says, we are just giving you advice from our point of view and the research that we have conducted. Please, you will not be able to come back and sue us if this shit doesn't work.
Come through. Come on here.
Yeah, that's on you. So we
Faith
give
without
you right. We give you what has worked for us. Give you some information and some research that we have conducted as well, and to give you information about starting, creating, maintaining a business. So if you have questions, we are looking at the live feed. We are looking at the feed of our watch parties. So please feel free to interact. We will read your questions, comments, concerns during the live and also try to answer them to the best of our abilities. If there's something we can't answer, we always go back to square one and put links in our final posting so that you have access to the information that we've had access to. So let's start with creating the business. Okay, so what I was, and I'll take that first part. So basically, when you want to start and or create a business, you'll go online and you'll see all these things that say, hey, start a business in 10 steps, start a business in this many steps, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you, generally, there is a nice canned example of what you should do when you're starting a business, but different businesses require different things to be and become legit. So every everything that we're talking about today is not all encasing. It is talking about, these are the general things that you're gonna need to do to get it together. So the first thing that I would say to do, or that I had to do, I had to conduct market research. Because I knew what product or what I wanted to provide to individuals for my business, but you have to be able to articulate it in a way that your customers and other businesses are going to want to, that are able to receive that information. So conduct market research. Is it already being done? How often is it already being done? How close are your competitors? What are their prices? And if there is even a need for the business that you are trying to create. You need to find out, is there a need? And if so, where do you fit in that niche? I say over and over to individuals, a business plan is important. There are several templates for a business plan. If you don't know how to do a business plan, it's okay. There are several resources online that can help you with templates of business plans, but also there are several college students who would gladly create a business plan for you for a little bit of tuition money, $5 here, $10 here, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to school for it, so they're learning about it. People who've already graduated with degrees in business, if that is their niche, ask, but I would say be prepared to pay for that service, because that's not a small thing to do for somebody. So creating a business plan, writing a business plan out. It's not just saying, I want to start a video game business. They're going to ask you hundreds of questions so that they are able to articulate what kind of video game business, who's your target market, who are your competitors, where are you going to start? Where do you want to expand? What is your 5-year, 10-year, 3-year immediate plan? So on and so forth. So please write business plans. You need to think about where your funding is coming from. Starting a business is not free. It is not free. Right, and there's several pieces of business that my co-hosts are going to talk about today, and everything's not free. This stuff does, and eventually it does cost money. So you need to figure out how you're going to fund the plan, fund your business, and also no, that's Candice's piece. I got to remember what I want to say and what I don't want to say to put on. I don't want to talk about someone else's thing. So I will stick with those pieces first. Have a plan before you jump into all these other steps that everyone else is going to discuss. Have a plan. And the plan is not going to be just one solid, non-moving instrument. Your plan is a working document. And be prepared to fail. Be
prepared to change it.
Right, be prepared to fail, which will lead to changes in that living document. Be prepared to fail. So that's my general overview before you get into anybody else's steps. Plan. Because a lot of times, if without the plan, I have seen business folks or people, entrepreneurs, people who want to get into business, they have an idea, they start funding the idea with no plan, and you lose a lot of money, a lot of patience, and you lose faith in what you thought you wanted to do by not having a plan to begin with. So that's my piece. Miss Cool Candice, I'm gonna let you go next because you talking money and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Money.
So 4 must-dos in business is what I was taking on. I would say the first thing is to either obtain an LLC, which is a limited liability company, an S Corp, which is an S corporation, or a C Corp, which is a C corporation. Each of those are all different. Your LLC is more likely for small businesses. That's for people who are just trying to protect their personal assets and still want to start a business. So if their business does get sued, you can't come from my house. And then an S Corp, that is tax status that's created so that business owners can save money on their taxes. And then you look at a C Corp, that's more for businesses that want their profits within their business. So there's different levels, there's different types that you can look out for. The second thing, you would need to spell out your operating agreement. That means you need to define the difference between you personally, which is your money with whatever regular job you're doing, versus your LLC, and be able to differentiate the money from both of them. Also, you need to be taking your own meeting notes, which go along with the business plan that Dizzy was talking about. You'll need to have either a good accountant or be a good accountant so that you can keep good tax records, because Uncle Sam's gonna come for you and he want his cut. So if you don't want him to come for your house, make sure you got your stuff in order. Make sure you separate your business accounts from your personal accounts as far as your money is concerned, because you don't want those two to be blended in and the lines to be blurred. You can create different types of business accounts. You can get different credit accounts or checking accounts and stuff like that. You do need to differentiate between which one you decide to get. And then after that, you need to decide on whether figure out your capital draw. That'd be number 3, capital draw versus capital contribution. So with those, the capital draw is how you plan to pay yourself out of your LLC, because essentially you're going into business for yourself to make money. So how are you planning on paying yourself from your business? Because you can't just take your business money and be like, I'm gonna use this and go to McDonald's and buy me some food for some lunch. Okay, well, you need to be able to differentiate that and keep your records for tax purposes. And then capital contribution is how do you plan on contributing to your business, whether it's an LLC, S Corp, or whatever the case may be. You need to be able to figure out how to do that out of your personal funds and keep your records straight to prove what you did and why you did it that way. And then the fourth thing, you need to be able to act as a business owner. So when you're signing new documents and you're signing contracts, you need to be signing things whether you have established yourself as the CEO or as the president or as the owner. You need to be able to solidify who you are in this business, and whether you have employees that are working for you or whether you're going to be a sole proprietorship and working for yourself. You need to be able to distinguish, okay, if I'm going to get a small business loan, this is for my business, not for my personal account with what I have with my family. And no matter when you create your LLC, your S Corp, or whatever you get, make sure you start a bank account, because, and you also need to get a Duns and Bradstreet number, your Duns number. Your Duns and Bradstreet number and your bank account, that's when your business starts. You can create your business January 15th, but if you don't start your bank account and get your Duns number until November, that's when your business starts. And that's when the clock starts for when companies are going to start asking you, well, how long have you been in business? Oh, well, I started back in January. Okay, well, what's the start date for your checking account or for your accounts that you have? Oh, I didn't start that until November. Okay, so we'll put down November 15th, because that's what they're going to go off of. So those are your 4 do's and don'ts for starting a business.
Okay. Yes.
You go, girl.
Bravo. Yes.
Nah, you did real good on that.
Honey, I thought I was at a workshop.
When I started.
Yes. Come on in here.
Can I say workshop? I'm just saying.
Yeah,
That shit.
definitely. All right. So after you get all your money right and everything else straight, let's see what comes next. Let's talk about branding. I love this.
I was just thinking that.
Mr. Cabana Blaq, brand manager, creator extraordinaire.
Ow.
Baby, ow.
Razzle dazzle on it.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm saying myself. That is my thing right now, because when she did it, I was like, yo, yes.
Like I said, I watched the video a couple of times by myself.
I bet you did.
Oh, all right. So we
Not
get
in
into
that hand.
self-branding. Self-branding. Well, first of all, let me give you the definition that you can find on Google. Let's start there first and then change it up. Oh, here we go. Self-branding or personal branding is a form of marketing that an individual uses to create a uniform public image. Uniform public image. I'm going to say it again. Uniform public image that demonstrates his or her values and overall reputation. That demonstrates his or her overall values and reputation. I just want to make sure you hear that because it's very important. This branding form is a growing trend among celebrities and represents a successful marketing strategy. The reason why I kind of was going into the body, yada, 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 and the reason why I'm actually wearing somebody else, shout out to this gentleman, because this is what it's all about. When you do branding, I went to the mall. I'm at a different location. I'm in Virginia Beach. And so in Lynn Haven, I found this business because I love the word faith. Faith is my favorite scripture. It says, for all individuals that hustle. That's me. That's what faith stands for in this thing. And this person is at, it's at Faith Branding. Faith Clothing Brand. Sorry, Faith Clothing Brand in Lynn Haven. So I'm going to shout them out because the thing about self-branding is picking stuff that, first of all, you believe in. So we knew the definition. I gave you the definition, which is great. But I'm going to give you another definition. You learn the rules to break the rules. If you desire to be an individual and you want to be original, then yes, you're going to be self-marketing, but you're going to have to learn all about it to find out how you define who you are in the market. So it's very important. So like, let's go to Megan Thee Stallion. Her album was coming and she said it's good news. She's bringing the good news. Good news is an easy phrase to remember. It's something that everybody can relate to. It's something that no one is going to get offended because everybody wants good news, right? Everybody wants to feel good. So she's bringing the good news. And not only did she do that, she's holding a newspaper. She's doing magazine covers. She's doing everything that's editorial leading up to her album release. That is a great example of self-branding. Is giving something that is uniform, like the definition said, an image that is uniform that people can follow. When you're self-branding, it is very important for you to understand it is actually not selfish. Self-branding is not selfish. It is something that you're building to pull people in to follow. So that's where the uniform part comes into. So for me, it's Cabana Blaq. You know, I always say I love to build a bridge instead of a ditch. And I keep it on repeat because love is my whole foundation. I want people to feel good. So everything that I put out, it has to either follow under the lines of what I'm pushing. I'm pushing love. So I'm pushing that as a form of, yo, this is Cabana. So when people see the word love, eventually they're going to think about Cabana Blaq. But I have to be consistent. And a lot of times with self-branding, you have to understand it is trial and error for the rest of your life. The more you grow, you're going to experience things that just don't work. And you have to understand when you're doing self-branding and you do not have a team, you know, people that are actually doing your graphics and your editing and reading over to make sure everything is written out well and your budget and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have to figure out what works for you. And that's why I love self-branding, because it is a journey of self. I'll say it again. It's a journey of self. There's no way that you can fail in it. So I hope anybody that is deciding to do a business and once you get all the formalities out of the way and the structure and the LLCs and all that kind of stuff, you understand that this is a journey. Self-branding is just finding out what truly works. And get this, it's going to change because people change. So for instance, if in your business, you start in January and you start off, let's say your business is selling tires. You're selling tires and you're putting out this business, and all the tires that you show is like people riding motorcycles and people riding on bikes. Like you choose that instead of choosing cars. Well, what if, say, at the end of January, there's just this big boom of people selling cars? Then you have to switch it up, because what's attractive is what you're trying to focus on. You're trying to go where people are going. And when you go with them, then you find how you can be the individual in it. A lot of self-branding, even in hip hop, is very hard because everybody sounds the same and everybody seemingly looks the same. But what happens is, going back to Meg Thee Stallion, she finds a way to bring you the good news. Or you go to somebody else that they find a way to put something else as something a little bit slight different, like Cardi B and selling tennis shoes. Because self-branding, it builds to you having different relationships with companies. When you're self-branding, your goal, and I know this is going to be sad to hear, going back to that free word, you're going to be doing a lot of free. A lot of free. Because you know why? Nobody knows you. Nobody wants you. Nobody needs you. Nobody. And until you take off the nobody and become a somebody, then you just stuck with everybody. And that means you blending. You're blending into the crowd. So you have to realize, yo, I got to figure out a way to stand out. And that's what self-branding is. It's finding out what you believe in, what follows your values, and what your reputation's about, and then saying, how do I stand out above the crowd?
Right.
And going back to what Dizzy said, it goes back to the other word, research, research, research. You're going to be studying as long as you're in business for the rest of your life. So don't think it just stops. You're going to be studying this for the rest of your life. And the more you get comfortable with you and how you want you to look to the world, all kinds of different things start to open up. And you then begin to make partnerships with different people as people find out you are somebody. So this is the thing that I want people to remember the most. Self-branding is simply that. It is about taking self, finding out what it is about your business that is so cool and so dope and so fun and so interesting and unique and original that when you put it out to the world, people run to you like wolves. Because you want greedy people. You don't want needy people. Because needy people will pull you down. You want greedy people that will push you up because they're going to consume you because they're a customer.
Right.
So, self-branding.
You know what, KB? Let's applaud KB for his presentation. So look, let me, just to kind of spitball over what Cabana just said, I really am glad that he did this section, because I will say, being in a business, nobody is perfect. Nobody knows how to do everything in a business. You will have team members, friends, etc., that are better at doing certain things under the umbrella of your business than you are. And I really have to say that the piece that Cabana just spoke about was the piece that I'm very good at business, but I totally had never grasped that piece. I was always for myself. I would always tell others to do it, but for myself, I would like push that to the wayside, because, and in my mind, it was like, I can't draw, I can't do Adobe, I can't make dope graphics, I can't do any of that stuff. So let me focus on what I know, and that's the mechanics of the business. And it's funny because it took, I will just say, an individual called Ghost to ask me questions to make me uncomfortable, to make me uncomfortable with my confidence in my business.
Right.
And so one day he was like, hey, so that's kind of how he started. So this email address that you have, what does 007 Dizzy at Gmail, what does that mean? And I was like, Well, I kind of had this email. I had an AOL account with 007 Dizzy. It was just, I like 007. My name is Dizzy. That's why I created that email address. So he was like, but how does that even relate to you? How, if someone wanted to email you that didn't know you, how does that relate? And I was like,
does that make me remember you?
Right. I was like, it doesn't. And so he was like, I think you need to go ahead and secure another email address, like Dizzy the host. They will remember that. I said, okay. So while he's on the phone with me, 2 steps ahead, already securing a Gmail account, right? So a couple days later, he calls me back and a couple days later, I'm on the phone with his significant other. And he slides in the phone call, was like, so, you know your Instagram is also 007 Dizzy. I didn't even respond. All he heard was tack. And I changed it. So then around the same time, he said, okay, so I have another question. He was like, what? He said, you have a business called La Femme Nikita Productions, right? I say, yeah. Why is it that name? So I gave him my rundown of why it's that name. And he said, again, like the email and like your Instagram, no one is going to connect that with you. I just took down my little raggedy Facebook page. but it was something I needed to hear. And so then it was like this little light went on, like, all right, let me find everything that's not, as Cabana said, universally consistent across my entire platform. And it's funny because now everything is Dizzy the host. Dizzy the host, Dizzy the host, Dizzy the host. That's it. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And with that, now I'm starting to understand and see that sticks. You saw me host something. You saw me be a comedian somewhere. You saw me Dizzy the host. Dizzy the host. That's it, no matter what. He even went as far as saying, like, so you got a logo?
Right.
And I've been trying to do a logo for years. I know what I want, but nobody can do it. And I can't articulate it because I'm not creative. I'm creative. I just don't know how to tell you what I want. Right. I know what I want when I see it, but I would have never been able to tell him do what he did. And it was funny because what I think he did, I just said, as long as it's got a microphone in it, a dope microphone, I'm good. And I think that just him knowing who I am and my personality or whatever, when he showed it to me, I was like, that's it. Just like that. You know what we make? Don't change nothing. That is it. And so now that logo is now associated with me. Like I put it on everything. All my contracts have the logo on it now, all my invoices, everything that touches Dizzy the host, that logo is on it. And I don't know why for years I was ducking and dodging something that was so necessary.
Come on here.
It was so necessary. So yes, Cabana, people don't understand how important that is. And I really did. I saw that shift plus other things that fell into place before that. That shift catapulted a lot more. I got a lot more traffic. I got a lot more inboxes for bookings because that's what they were looking for. How do I contact you the easiest way possible? And I didn't realize I got customers who are on Facebook who are not on Instagram. I got customers on Instagram who don't use Facebook. And some people use Snapchat. And some people just use Google. And some people just want to email me. Everything needs to be consistent across the board so I don't have to give everybody different names. So I appreciate you, Ghost. Thank you.
Hey, and you actually passed that information down to me and made me go through and change all my
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I said go. One of my first things to you was go lock down every single name, whatever your name is gonna be. Lock it down. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, steal it right now.
Right now, even if you don't put no content on it, just get the name secure.
Just get the names. If you don't ever do nothing with it, it's fine. But lock the names in so you don't have to pay somebody for it later.
Come on.
Just like this is branding at its finest. When the Washington Redskins had to change their name, there was a businessman. I can't remember his name. I will research it, but I read it. I read this article and it was genius. This man sat down and thought of every animal, concept you could possibly think of that the Washington Redskins could have changed their name to. And he bought and created every.com.
Nice. Yep.
So that if the Washington Redskins decided to say, we're going to be the Washington Red Dogs, if I already own www.washingtonreddogs.com, the Redskins got to pay me for it because I own it.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And I was like, that was genius. It was a little.
I was like, that was.
I mean, it was petty, but it was.
It was petty. It was shady, but it was genius. I was like, damn, they got to upload their entire branding and somebody about to get paid off of it. So definitely. So thank you, Cabana, for that.
Amen.
Yeah. Oh, so Mr. Tyrone Greggory, please, please inspire us with your section. I believe it is marketing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
So, listen, a lot of things that Candice said, a lot of things that Cabana said, and a lot of things that Dizzy just said, they all fall into this marketing circle. It really does. Because to market yourself, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're pushing. You have to know what you want to put out there. And you have to know who you're trying to push it to. Mm-hmm. And like Cabana said, you want the greedy, not the needy. You know what I'm saying? If you're marketing yourself, you don't want to just give anything away. You want people to come and get what you have. But at the same time, in marketing yourself, once again, going back to something Cabana said, don't nobody know you. They don't know you. So you have to understand how to get yourself out there. And the first thing in that is whatever you are offering, you have to be able to give that away for free. People don't understand me when I say that. You have to be able to give it away for free because Dizzy does a show. Dizzy needs some help. I am a comedian. Don't nobody know my ass, but they know Dizzy. I'm going to go be a comedian for Dizzy for free. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to help her flourish, but she's helping me flourish. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to offer your services for free to get your name out there. That way you can charge. And you have to do that with people that are already credible. You have to do that. I can't just go with, hey, Mark from up the street, he want to go and do a show. Don't nobody know Mark either. I still not get my name out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which goes into my next thing is joint ventures. I got something, you got something. If we could put these together, we got something else. You got to be able to do things like that. Like you have to be able to mess with people who already have the clientele base that you want, and you have to earn their trust, earn your keep in what you're doing, so that way you can get their clientele and build your clientele. You have to be able to do that. It's as simple as, like I just said, like Dizzy, man, I talk about it, like you doing show me what you got. I do whatever. If Dizzy call me, I will get on the goddamn road tomorrow I would get on the road right then after getting the phone with her. And I would go and do the show because now I just gained more clientele base in that place where she was at. You have to be willing to put in the footwork. People are sometimes scared to be their own foot soldiers. You got to be your own foot soldier before you can even gain people on your team. You got to be on your own team first. You have to. And excuse me, I'm going through this fast, y'all. Content marketing. That is another thing. Like right now in the world that we live in, everything is like social media based. Like right now, we're on a podcast. Everybody's looking at us. We're talking. We're speaking. You have to invest the time to sit down and research things and be able to talk to people and be credible. You have to. They have to understand that you know what you're talking about. I almost did it.
Yo, Kela gonna say it for you.
You talking about?
They gotta know you know what the fuck you talking about. But you have to do the research. You have to put in the time. You have to invest in yourself before you can expect anyone to invest in you. That's
Come on here.
When you market yourself, you have to make yourself, palatable. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, it's just like when you go to a restaurant, you get a steak. If the steak don't taste right, it's not good on your palate. If you don't come across palatable to people, and you leave a bad taste in people's mouth, you will never get their business. You have to understand how to market to them. Sometimes you have to stroke people's ego. Sometimes you do. You have to stroke your customer's ego.
Come on.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you're changing of yourself. That just means you want that business. Period. Another thing is, so we're in a TikTok age and an Instagram age and all this right now. Use those to your advantage when you're marketing. Use them. You have to be able to get out there and do a video and speak about what you want to do, but also give them a piece of the product. You want them to come back. You don't want to give them everything. You want to give them enough that they want to come back and they want to contact you. And just like we were just talking earlier, what Dizzy said, you have to have all your social media, your email. You got to have all that. You got to know. You got to push that in their face. That's how I don't know any other way to market. Like, this is what I know. This is what's worked for me. I did a lot of research and I looked up people like it's an Asian guy, Dan Locke. He will talk about all these things I'm talking about right now. If you go on YouTube, he will tell you. I've done the research. I went on the Forbes list, Forbes website and looked at things. And this is exactly what they say. You have to push it out in quantity. You have to overgive to people. And don't expect anything but at least one person to look at it. Because you still got to love what you're doing. And you can't fear the rejection of people not liking it. So when you market to those that you want their business, but understand people are going to come at you like, we don't want this shit. You can't get discouraged. Marketing is really pushing yourself.
Yes, sir. You did that? Dizzy, your thing's on mute.
That's because I have a child in the background that don't know where she's supposed to be right now.
Singing in the background.
I had to be mama and still be looking at the camera so I can still speak without, what I'm saying?
Without, what I'm saying, Wu-Tang in it?
Right. Okay. So it's funny. So marketing by definition is the profitability using the results of studying short-term and long-term needs of those who can pay for one-time or steady flow of service or product placement. So that's like, what? So of course, the best way to explain marketing in easy layman's terms, marketing is the art of telling a story that is so amazing that people lose track of the wallet.
Ooh.
Say it again.
If I am marketing so well that you have lost track of how much you've paid for something, a product or something, you recognize the value of that thing without me saying a word except for the name of the company, that is effective marketing. So there are 5 concepts of marketing that are typically used in business. It's production concept, product concept, selling concept, a marketing concept, and of course, social marketing concept. So Greg he did discuss the selling, the marketing, and the social media type marketing piece. But the other 2 pieces there are production and product. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just want to say too, also from what Greg was saying, it's very important for people to also realize, like, you're going to have to find a break. And it's not in there. This is not being said. A lot of this is machine driven and we're not machines. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to find a break. Right. You're going to find a way to take breaks because we're not made or created to put out what machines do. And this is what's happening. And this is new because we're in social media, and social media is taking things to a higher level. Phones have taken things to technology has taken humanity to a higher level. So you have to understand, like, this is not something that when we're saying, yes, put it out in quantity, put it out in content, yes, do so, but realize, take your time, find your break, find your beats, because if not, you will not survive, especially if you don't have a team yet. So we're talking from 2 aspects. You know, once you get a team and it's a business and you have people taking on jobs that you were doing by yourself, then that's different. And you still have to take a break. And I wanted to say one more thing because I'm getting hit up a lot.
Okay, go ahead.
And then there's an example of something privately going on. So I am not paying attention to this Netflix special because I was not in it like that, but my phone has been going off a lot. And it's just going off now. And so the Voices of Fire, on Netflix is out there. But because now my face and people are recognizing it, this is the moment where self-branding must go in effect. And I have to think about, well, how do I use this to my advantage? Because everybody's asking me, well, did you make it or didn't you make it? And if you didn't make it, well, how did you make it? So this is what I mean by beats and moments. Things will happen, and self-branding is about being in that moment because you can't wait. That's the one thing I just wanted to sell. Self-branding also means that you cannot wait for opportunity. When opportunity comes, you have to equip yourself to take advantage. So now that this has happened to me and my phone is going off in less than 24 hours, I have to take advantage of that in order for people to say, oh, because at first I was like, oh. And you're going to have those moments where you're just overwhelmed and don't want to do it. But those are the moments that might bring a bigger return for you.
Correct.
You gotta strike while the iron is hot.
What'd you say, Candice?
I said, take it and run with it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Please
that's the
do.
truth, though,
Please
bro.
do. Look, I hit you up yesterday, and I was like, sir, we need to have a discussion. We have to talk because I watched the entire Voices of Fire yesterday.
Yeah.
And there was a part in it where I said, hold up, Reese, rewind that. And he rewound it, and I said, okay, now pause. Because I wanted to see everyone that was selected for Voices of Fire. And if you guys don't know what Voices of Fire is, this is a reality show located here in the Hampton Roads area to create the most amazing gospel choir, and everyone everyone is from Hampton Roads. Everyone, and
except for the ones that traveled in. There are people that flew from Boston and different places,
So
and left their jobs.
I know. And so it was a really good show. There were some things that I was not a fan of in the show, but overall I liked the show. And it's crazy because I saw 8 of my friends' faces on those screens.
Yes. Yes.
8. I was like, oh my God, oh my. So anyway, there's a certain part where I told my husband to pause, where they showed all the altos, all the sopranos, and all the tenors. And I wanted to see what faces I knew. And not me, my 5-year-old was like, where is Mr. Cabana? Because all she knows is Mr. Cabana sing. She know Mr. Cabana is a singer.
That's my baby.
And I said, baby, I don't know if he's going to be on this part.
Right.
Because on the screen, I was looking for Cabana Blaq, that name.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not me. My 5-year-old said, he's right there. And I looked and I said, what? Sir. So yes, this is definitely a hot, as Candice said, this is a strike while the fire is hot.
Yes.
Because right now that is real hot.
And whether anything is good or bad, because y'all will find out the turnout of what's there and what's not there. Sometimes when things are not so good, that's when you still have to strike. And that's what I'm learning right now. Because my situation was, but it's hot. So
exactly.
Tell Brandon, you got to go for what you got to go for, and you have to do it because that's how you build brands. And so
exactly.
I just want to put that in there because I was like, my phone is like going off right now. Like, what is going on?
No problem. So one thing that I wanted to make sure that I hit, and this is one of my favorite things of marketing. And again, if y'all got stuff about marketing, please say so. But one of my favorite things about marketing, and it may be because of my age, I'm a person-to-person person.
Right.
I get the online stuff. I get the social media. I get it. I just don't like to do it. I get it though. I get it, but I don't like it. I need to sit across the table from you and explain to you why you need my service, right? That's just the way that I am. However, I have advised and consulted several business owners. You must have an elevator speech.
Yes.
Must have an elevator speech. And I'm going to tell you what my concept of elevator speech is. All right. So who I want to use. All right. Let's say Oprah. I'm just going to pull. Michelle Obama.
Another O.
Yeah, there you go. Let's say I'm getting ready to fly out of Norfolk to go to Germany to do my thing. And I'm going through the airport. Of course, we know this will never happen, but I'm going through the airport and I get on the elevator to go to level 5 to catch my flight, right? I'm on there by myself with my bags and everything. I'm trying to go to the 5th floor, 3rd floor, boom, my elevator's open. And who walks in my elevator? Michelle Obama.
Kela, your eyes.
Because we know who Michelle Obama is. Hey, how are you? All right, I'm fine. How are you? I am great. Nice to see you doing. Where are you off to? Oh, I'm on my way to Germany. Really? Why are you going to Germany? Pause. This is where you insert your elevator speech. What the elevator speech is meant to do. If you are ever in a location where with someone who could help further your business venture,
Come on.
you have to be able to articulate your business in 60 seconds or less. That's why elevator speech. I gotta get my point across to you about my business before we get to the 5th floor. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay. So it's got to start strong. You have to be enthusiastic with the delivery. You must practice this speech so it rolls off your tongue as if it is natural conversation. You please do not use, like if you're a tech person or whatever the case may be, don't use a whole bunch of industry jargon that person's not going to understand. Speak to the lowest level, but don't sound dumb. Speak to the lowest level so that they understand. You need to tell them in that speech why your business is unique, what problem you are solving with your business, and allow time and space for participation or interruption by the person you're talking to so that they can engage with you and ask more questions. If you are able to articulate your business to someone in 60 seconds or less, you know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. I have enough interest in you that you want my business card, my phone number, my email address, my something, so that we can further the conversation at another time. I have met too many entrepreneurs who cannot articulate the business that they are starting. And if you can't articulate to me the business that you're starting, you will not get a cent of my money as an investor. I'm not interested. You don't have it together. You don't have your stuff together. So I'm not giving you any of my money. And if you can't articulate that to someone who can get your foot in the door, that's an issue. That's my biggest. I know there's several aspects of marketing, but the elevator speech has always been a thing of mine. Always.
Okay.
Yes,
what you just said was fact though, because if you can't articulate that in 60 seconds, they're gonna say you don't have your shit together. But guess what? What if you don't have your shit together, but you know how to articulate yourself? They can help you get your shit together, but you still gotta know how to sell yourself.
Correct.
You have to know that.
Correct. So, I'm sorry, I had to go off on that tangent because I really, truly believe in that speech. So, now we're going to get to Miss Kela Mahogany. Oh, I'm sorry.
What'd you say, Candice?
What'd you say, Candice?
I said, I've never heard that before. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
Yes. Because just think about it, Candice. Think about it. If someone, I don't know what, well, I know what business you're in now, but if someone just come up to you and say, hey, so what do you do for a living? We are not going to talk about our DOD position. I'm not either. I'm not going to tell you about my DOD
job. That's not what you want to do.
That's my job. Your business. I'm going to come out the gate with, I'm a hostess. My name is so-and-so. We also known as this. I'm Dizzy, the hostess. And this is what we do. I have shows that have established We have conducted shows for I have opened for I have brought in over $210,000 for fundraising purposes, not to include my profit margin. Boom.
Come on now, you gotta make money.
Right, that ain't all of it, but I'm just saying that gets my attention like, damn. Because you're telling them about something that they've never heard before and make it relatable. I basically tell them, hey, I don't say this exactly, but I host this show, blah, 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 blah. This is my market, da, 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 da. Think of it like this, Apollo for Germany. If they're if they're my age and older, they know Apollo. The younger crowd, I'd be like, think of it something like, The Voice, but Germany.
Right.
Oh, because I don't have time to explain. I have contestants come out on stage and they do stuff, and then if they don't do it right, then somebody comes out and kicks them off the stage. But if they do right, then they get to make it through. Then at the end, no.
Like party off.
Right. So please write it, practice it, be able to spit it anytime. So Miss Kela Mahogany, she is going to give us the top 5 uh-ohs of entrepreneurship.
I'm gonna do something like that.
Oh Lord, here we go.
She got to serve us this body of work.
All right, body, yaddy, 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 yaddy.
Yes.
Look, you better be careful, Candice.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you do body, you gonna give us body. Body, yada, 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 yada.
Camera knocked over, everything gone. That's why she keep looking up to the corner. Dave keep trying to keep coming in the room, trying to make sure they still secure.
Hey, you got
Body,
the things
yada,
put
yada,
up, right?
yada,
Hey,
yada,
you got the
yada.
things put up. They up, right? Cover them up.
Put that pillow up there or something. I'm just messing, Candice. Let me stop. Look, Green, you can't do that. You're supposed to be a feminist. Stop it. All right, go ahead.
Wear whatever you want to wear, however you want to wear it, Candice. Fuck them that's looking.
All right, go ahead, Kela.
I ain't going nowhere. No, no. All right. So after everything, that everybody else said, all of the great advice that everybody gives you, and you're working your business, you've started it, you've, incorporated, you've branded yourself, you've marketed yourself, you got your business operations going. That doesn't always mean that it'll work. By your failures in combination with other people's, by yours alone, sometimes things just don't work out. And so I want to give a couple of mistakes that can happen that can aid in, perhaps your business not working out. But I do want to say first that just because it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you are a failure. Don't internalize that, because you do have to separate yourself from your business, as well as your personal and your business expenses. You have to put on your personal hat, where you are just human. You are just a person. You know what I'm saying? You make mistakes and things like that.
Right.
Your hat, where you're a business owner, that is more analytical. There's steps to that. There is a plan that you can follow for your business. There's not a plan for this life. Y'all know that. So, but if the business fails, do try not to internalize that and put that on yourself, for too long. I think it's impossible for it not to hurt your feelings, but try not to sit in that, because you got to keep moving and continue and learn from the mistakes that you made to pursue whatever it is that you want to do next. Because just because one thing fails doesn't mean that everything will fail, and doesn't mean that you should stop pursuing your dreams. So I did want to say that first. So one thing that can happen is that you can let your fears hold you back from the start. Like, some people are sitting at home right now, afraid of starting a business, and that's the only thing that is, stopping them from doing it. It's going to be scary. Do it anyway. You're gonna be nervous. Because this is something big that you're taking on. You're taking on a great responsibility when you're developing and creating a business. And so that is actually a healthy nervousness, anxiousness, fear, because it involves so many moving parts. Do it anyway. One thing that's going to help you is to prepare yourself. Like everybody said on this panel, those things are going to help you become more confident. You won't have the confidence without the preparation.
Right.
You will not have the confidence without the preparation. So that is one thing. So don't let fear hold you back. Do it anyways.
That jump in with both feet.
Both feet, just be like cannonball.
Boom.
Yes. Putting your product first and people second. That's a no-go. You want to make sure the people are purchasing your product, whatever that is, your product or your service. So you have to think about them first. If you think about your product first, then the product is the only thing that's going to grow and develop. Just think about it like that. Thinking you can do it all by yourself. And everybody mentioned this in some way, in some form or another. It takes a team, it takes support, it takes, it takes people, resources in order to help your business grow. And sometimes, I'm talking to y'all Black women. Yep, y'all strong, independent asses. Y'all know how y'all are. We can want to do everything by ourselves.
Right.
Everything.
I got it.
No, you don't.
Right.
You are strong, you are independent, you are smart in everything. However, businesses don't run at full potential with only one person. Even the best genius had other people supporting them.
That's what made him genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't think that you can do it by yourself. Pull from your friends, hire people, assistants. Even like one thing that you can do is go on Fiverr.com, and they will there are people out there who market their business so that they can help you with one project or another, or have something that's ongoing. So there are inexpensive resources out there that you can tap into to help you build your team at the beginning until you can actually hire some staff. And also setting goals that aren't attainable. I like to think big, big, big. You know what I mean? I develop the whole plan in my head and get it to the point of its peak success. But then what you have to do is go right back to the beginning and draw out the plan of how you're going to get there. So I want to make $1 million. Now we're going to reverse engineer that bitch and figure out, how do I get there? Mm-hmm. Okay, you then build the steps, but that starts from step one. It doesn't start from the point where you already have the $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just when you set these goals, when you set your big goals, make sure there are many goals inside of that big goal, because every step that we take towards our business or towards our goal, that's how we get the goal. You have to walk and talk in the process in order for you to get to that final step. And sometimes, the last thing I'll say about this is sometimes it doesn't work. I had to close my business. That was very difficult. I'm in the middle of transitioning from Germany to America. That's its own, headache and things like that. And so don't be afraid to say that was for that was then, and I possibly have to pivot to something else. But that would mean stopping, what I've been doing and what I developed, what I created, what I grew. And that comes with its own feelings. And so always try to rationalize, like from the business standpoint, that, like I said earlier, the personal and the business hat, you have to separate those, because personally, I am very connected to this baby that I grew.
Right.
Business, that might not be smart to try to run myself and the business into the ground just because I think, just because I want to stick with something, not recognizing that I'm in a totally different environment.
Right.
And so you just have to be realistic about things, forgive yourself for any failures, because a loss is just a lesson for real. It's just a way for you to figure out how to do it better. The only failure is stopping. So don't be okay, and don't be afraid to adjust if need be, because we are not all just one thing. We can be many things.
Right. Right. I agree with that, Keith. Yay!
Well, first of all, let me say, honey, you didn't swing low, sweet cherry in my spirit. I started writing. I was like, wait a minute, she gonna put all her quotes on my feed.
I'm 3x5 on it. I'm 3x5 on it.
That, y'all.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's really good. That's really good. So look, I just happened to go and glance at the comments. So Albert Brunson just wants to know, how much does Tyrone Greggory cost, because he would like to purchase 2.
I already told him he ain't got enough.
Ooh, this is expensive.
Miss Sam Phillips says, "What's up?" Hey, Miss Phillips.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, we got a lot of people watching over here. So so we don't know the price on Tyrone Greggory, but as soon as we have something,
$49.95.
So we we're gonna get on Tyrone Greggory's price now. Because listen, okay,
we gotta know how to market you.
No, see, check this out. Okay, if we're gonna get on that, then we're gonna talk about how much it costs to vacuum a goddamn yard.
Don't do that. That's Albert Brunson's job. That's Albert Brunson's job to come at me about vacuuming the yard.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just letting both you and Albert know.
Well, no,
one of y'all gonna come for me unless I come for y'all.
It costs nothing to vacuum the yard. Nothing.
99.
I just want to say before I forget, as far as what she was saying, I want to know, because it was really good, Kela.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me go back into that. Wait a minute, hold up. Loss is just all right, because I had to go back to my notes. Because I was about to forget. Oh, I want to forget. I think that one thing that people also don't realize is like right now we are dealing with something new, and everything that you just spit out, it really pertains to the pandemic, because a lot of people have to take this failure as not a loss, but just, I put failure as just realizing the truth, meaning like a lot of, even for me, I had to sit down with my singing. I had to sit down with all the stuff, my speaking, and I'm in the middle of accepting and changing things, because my music and everything is my life, is what I do. But this pandemic is really, whether people want to accept it or not, it has caused a humongous change in people's businesses and people's lives. So I think what you were saying was really good, because you have to, I always say flow. You have to flow to what life is giving you in business. You have to flow with it. You have to let that river of water that you feel under your feet say, this is where you need to go. Because if you don't go to a wet place and you stay in a dry place, you won't get nothing. Nothing will grow. Nothing will become of you. Nothing will start to shape. So you have to go to places like, maybe you're not going to like what you see, but there's the other gifts and talents and dreams that you have inside of you. And when you feel a little bit of water, when I say water, people being attracted to maybe you stitching or sewing something, or maybe you're not a makeup artist, but you know how to do lashes, and you keep on doing lashes on people, and people like, how much would that cost? You have to pay attention to what the flow is, which I say is water coming your way, and you have to plant that seed and put it into that water so it can grow. And it doesn't mean that you can't go back to what you love, but the land right now is not the same. The land has become dry. And so you have to go find the water. You have to go allow yourself to find it, because the land is really dry right now. And that goes for a lot of business. We're talking present day right now. And that's why I say wisdom is a great thing, because all the people on this panel, we are giving you a certain amount of testimony, life, and wisdom. But in more business, realistically, the playing field is very small. So you have to figure out what's new. If not, you do chance yourself actually being in destruction.
Yeah.
And not being in a place of living your fullest life, but seeing your life be destroyed because you refuse to allow your ego to take the truth of what's going on. And like she says, don't take it as your fault. And I thought that was really good. It is not your fault. Life always gives us things that are just going to knock us, but it's not us. It is life. And I think that's another thing that people don't realize in business. Life is not Santa Claus. It is not going to come to you in a gift in a bow. It's going to come to you with a good old foot and a kick. So.
In your ass.
Yeah. Don't be Blockbuster. Blockbuster didn't recognize what was going on with videos and stuff like that. And that is an example of how you can stay in a place and just hold yourself so strong that you don't think of the different ways that your particular industry is moving. And so instead of going with the current, you're going against it, and then wonder why things aren't working out the way that you want. It's because you're fighting against what the greater industry is doing. No one person is the industry. You know what I mean? No one. And so you have to go with that. Don't think that you are doing, and I'll say this because we all are doing things that are special to us, but we are only recreating businesses of the past and just putting today's spin on it. So don't think you're reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean? Understand what's going on in the greater industry before you think what you're doing is so special that you're about to change how customers act within that industry. You got to be for that shit.
At the same time, when you are creating your business, you do have to think ahead. You have to play chess. It's not fucking checkers. Right. You have to play chess. You have to think about those failures when you start the business. You have to think about those failures.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you have to think about what can cancel out your business so that way you can cancel that out before it happens.
Right, right. I want to piggyback off of two things actually that Kela said. So one of the things, and actually it ties together with something that actually Cabana said as well. So I have an account on Fiverr. So if you guys basically don't know what Fiverr is, Fiverr is this resource place where it's online, and almost anything you don't know how to do, you go to Fiverr and you can hire someone to do the piece that you don't do. It's Fiverr.
Yep.
You can find people that do data entry services, graphic and design, digital marketing. They can write and do translations for you, video, animation, music, audio. They can create business documents, anything you need for your business, your life, whatever, you can find it or find someone who knows how to do it in Fiverr. And it's funny because I did not know about Fiverr until maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when the government went through sequestration and people started getting furloughed. And so unfortunately at that time, and basically y'all don't know what that is, I'm gonna explain it really quick. Okay, when y'all are watching NBC, MSNBC, whomever, and y'all see that they have not approved the budget and not approved the budget and not approved the budget for the government, there's a nice little word that comes on your screen and it says sequestration. And basically what that means is that government entities have to make decisions on who is still reporting to work and being paid and who is still reporting to work and not being paid, or who is required to go home and not be paid or be paid. It's just that simple, because Congress, government, etc., they can't get it together to come up with their budget. The government workers are affected, basically, in so many ways.
They know.
Right. We knew but here's the thing. We signed a document. We knew what we were getting into when we signed it.
Come through.
When you get the jobs for the government. But I think that a lot of people never thought we would be actually in the place where we would really be furloughed and sequestrated. So anyway, sequestration happened, and then people, the actual furlough piece of it is when they come to you and say, hey, so they ain't got the budget together yet. So your specific position is being furloughed. It could be a range of things. You don't come to work at all. You might only be able to come to work 2 days a week. Plays very, very heavy on positions that are not, that are mission essential and not mission essential. It's a lot of little working factors. So anyway, my position was one of the positions that was affected by the furlough. So I had a time period where I was frantic because I was like, yo, it ain't time for a show. It ain't time. I had to process the fact that there is a possibility that I may not be receiving income for an extended amount of time. Oh, and by the way, this shit drops like around Christmas almost every year. I done already pre-bought gifts and, etc. So I had to start looking for other ways to make money in the meantime, because I didn't know how long it was going to last and so on and so forth. So with that, I made a Fiverr account. And I was like, well, I can write business documents. I can do business plans. I can write marketing plans. I can do spreadsheets, so on and so forth. And it helped during that time. You pick your price point. You have examples of your work up there, and you can make money that way. So I wanted to put that out there because with Cabana talking about this is a new time and we got millions of people at home on unemployment. You guys might want to start looking, or maybe have already started looking at things such as Fiverr as a source of income. And I didn't even think to tell people that a long time ago, but that is it's a good source of income when you don't have anything coming in and you just apply your skill set. As a matter of fact, be perfectly honest, I had a lady, actually a friend of mine contact me because she's starting another venture with her business and she wants to teach people how to do certain things in her business. And she said, I don't know, I'm very well versed in my business, but I don't know how to make a spreadsheet that can reflect the cost of doing business. I said, oh. Send me an email with everything that you're trying to capture and I got it. I'll do it for you. Because I like doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, boom, 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 boom. I made the spreadsheet or whatever. And I sent it to her in like less than 24 hours. And she was like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I was looking for. Now, she's a friend of mine. So I did it for her. She was like, well, what do I owe you? I was like, you don't owe me nothing. I did it in an hour. What are you talking about? You got it. You're good. And we went back and did some tweaks on it or whatever. And then like all of a sudden, like she like cash at me some dough for it, like a significant amount of money for it. And I was like, why? But then get another boom, ding dong. Maybe I need to actively advertise that I do this stuff, because to me it's not work. But it took this situation to happen to say, hey, I might need to add some things underneath the umbrella of what I'm doing, you know, and so on. So that's something that I would say to all the wanting to be future entrepreneurs. I would definitely say you guys probably want to take a look at that, because you've probably got a skill set that is a moneymaker that you don't realize can make you money in these times. Really.
I'm gonna do that myself. Come on here, G. Yes. That might be something I can do. Come on here.
And it was something you said and I wrote it down. She was saying, Kela was talking about how Blockbuster didn't move. And then she said something about don't recreate the wheel on your business. All right. So when I was taking, I remember I had a professor and he gave us this example in one of our classes, and he was saying, if you guys realize, if you really sit back and look, there really haven't been any original business thoughts for years.
Come on.
Like 20-year time frame. No, we talking like 90, early 2000s when we had this conversation, but original business ideas. He said, this is the example he gave us. He said, all right, what's the most famous chocolate bar that you can think of right now? Just chocolate. Who?
Snickers.
Yeah, plain chocolate.
Snickers.
Hershey.
Plain chocolate.
Hershey.
Hershey's is the most famous chocolate bar pretty much in the world. Everybody knows Hershey's, right? So Hershey said, all right, so I'm going to do Hershey's, and then I'm going to just do Hershey's with almonds. That's all we're going to provide. This is my blocks of what this is the product I'm going to provide. So somebody said, well, I like chocolate, but I also like caramel. So somebody said, damn, let's do chocolate and caramel and make it a Snickers.
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry, a Milky Way.
A Milky Way, that's Milky Way.
All right, so caramel, chocolate, a little bit of nougat, boom, you got a Milky Way. Then somebody said, but I like peanuts. So somebody threw peanuts in it and said, oh, well, now it's called a Snickers. So somebody said, well, I don't like whole peanuts I like it like kind of crushed up, or I like Chico sticks and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. So somebody was like, oh, I got you. So we're going to take away the caramel and we're going to take away the nougat and we're going to make a Butterfinger. Let's make a Butterfinger. It's just peanut stuff and chocolate. That's it. Somebody said, well, hold on. Well, I like nougat and I like caramel, but I like nougat, caramel, and I like chocolate. I like that, but I don't like Snickers though. Someone said, all right, well, let's do, no, I'm allergic to chocolate. I'm trying to remember the way he said it. I'm allergic to chocolate. You allergic to chocolate? Yeah, but I like peanuts and nougat and caramel. They said, all right, well, then I'll give you a payday. You know what I'm saying? And he went through all these different candies that the bases all started with Hershey. They like, oh, I want Rice Krispies in my chocolate. So now you got a Nestle bar. Well, someone said, well, I don't want a Nestle Crunch. So somebody made the same thing, but called it a crackle. You made the same candy and made it a crackle. And there's almost no candy that I can think of, and I'm just talking chocolate bar wise. There's no candy that was original. Think about all the different types of, You have you have the Reese cup, and then you got a Reese Crunch cup, then you got a Reese Big cup, then you got Reese's Pieces, which we all know that's not the same peanut butter. But I'm just saying,
Oh no,
it's not the same peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? So all of that, all of those things. And so when you look at that point of view for your own, this food, Rodney said, what about OnlyFans Hershey?
Oh, shit.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
Hey, I'm about to start OnlyFans.
Right. Shut up. OnlyFans Hershey.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So don't be afraid to find that thing that's missing. That thing that's missing that maybe you're like, did anybody ever think that we could do this? Adding something or taking something away. That's the only thing you have to do to find a niche in a market that you think is already saturated. Go ahead, Kela.
And I have a cheat code right quick. Find, how am I gonna say this?
Say it. Just
go into these spaces where there aren't Black people and start to educate people in that thing. Because Black people are looking for you in a certain, like, I want to learn certain things from Black people. There are certain things that don't have, that are, I'm gonna just say, that are in the majority space, but you go in there and that, like, you can communicate it to a community in a way that they can't. So that is a cheat, whether you're a graphic designer, like even on YouTube, when I'm looking up business advice, I'm looking for Black people who are talking about that business advice. So if you have some knowledge, there aren't many of us in certain spaces that it would be necessary to do that. Just like we're saying, a lot of spaces buy Black, we are looking for Black people in every single industry. So that right there is a niche. You know what I mean? That right there sets you apart.
You make a great point, because we always say we want to see people like us doing things that we want to do, but if we're not doing it, how are we going to see us?
Yeah.
Right. And another thing too is really important within all of this, because Fires Cabana, I hate copycats. Always will, to the day that I die. But I understand it. And what I'm realized even more, because yesterday my cousin came and got me, and we went to the cheesecake factory, and we were just sitting and listening to some music. And he said, one of my favorite songs is The Rainbow Connection. So I was telling him, some of my favorite movies are, The Wiz and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and a lot of old musicals. But the thing about it is, you have two things that you have to do if you want to be original. And this is me telling you because I am original. But you also have to have one market where you're not original and you're finding the niche like everyone is saying. But when you are an original, you have to realize we're in the land of the dinosaurs. Then, being original means that you're taking a huge amount of risk and suffering and loss and not being acknowledged, because when it does hit, see, the reason why original wins is when it does hit, it is so big that people then chase it and then they want it, like Apple and Steve and all these other people. And I would love to see us, doing that. And we have been there. Sometimes people steal from us. We'll acknowledge that fact too.
Sometimes.
I'm being very politically correct, because when you have this language, for me, it's not just about being Black. My conversation is not about being just Black. My conversation is in general, as an original person with an original thought. That sometimes is not me thinking about color. That means understanding that people are just not going to follow you. People are not going to support you. People are not going to get with you until they see others get with you. I had to learn this late. Like, I'm in my age, I'm learning this late. Like, this is real talk. In order to do something that you really want to do, you got to believe in it to the point that it doesn't matter what people think about it. And you have to do it because it's not even about being selfish. It's about because that it's needed, like whatever it is. So in business, of course, I'm going to look and find markets, and I can make a new chocolate bar and add another element that's vegan or something to the chocolate bar. Oh, I shouldn't even said that because that might be an idea right there. Anyway, but you could do all those kinds of things. But if you're a person that is, I always say this is my biggest story. I am in love with Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder went into a room and refused to come out of that building until he made The Keys of Life. That album changed how people listen to music. People followed it. Brandy did Full Moon, and everybody wanted to do her style. Prince did, all these things. And we always have to reference back to the past, if you notice that. We reference back to the past, and now we're at a place where it's kind of like not cool to think original, not cool to be out of the box. It's almost like, why are you doing that? So I'm also challenging people. Yes, this is all great. This is what you're supposed to do. But when I say to the day I die, I'm looking for my next person that's going to give me something that makes me excited, that makes me want to do something and change. So if you're out there, there's nothing wrong with people that, you following the pattern stuff. But if you're out there, realize, don't look for this big, like, yo, I love you, you the dopest, no. And even let's bring up Bill Cosby. And I'm not talking about the Bill Cosby that everybody wants to do all this other stuff, because I can separate church and state. The man, before all of this happened, the things that he introduced to the Black community, the cartoons, the shows, all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about take the chance on your own ideas. But the generation is different. I was raised on so much Kids Incorporated. I can name shows after shows after shows that was all about change. And my parents were deliberate in putting Black things in my home. So we always had Black, not just white, not just Puerto Rican, but we made sure that Black was in the home. But what was most important was having your own mind. And I just want to say that because now we have kids. I'm in a situation where I'm at right now, and I'm watching homeschooling. Mm-hmm. Now, homeschooling meaning like the parents are doing it, like they're being taught from the teachers, on the computer.
I'm living it.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not speaking for the parents. What I'm saying is that if the parents are not involved, it is a waste. Yeah. And I'm being really like, this is like something like the way some of the teachers are talking to the kids, some of it's not active, some of it's drone. They're sending a lot of videos for them to watch, and eventually you can just see the kids getting like just, that activity is being removed, and then they want them there hours upon hours, and you not giving them any kind of excitement. Why am I saying this? Because this is all about creating a business and marketing and all those stuff. So you have to have all of these things into play. And that's what I miss when I look at, because, when people say, well, there'll never be another Wiz. Why not? Stop settling, because the Wiz for me is mine, Eureka. I love the Wiz. But my goal is to create something that's even bigger than the Wiz. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to just wait there for somebody to tell me or somebody being popular. So then I did a Christmas play. Oh, where's my Christmas tree? And sold out 4 years. Different. Bigger than what I thought. But it's about pushing the narrative. So I'm just, you feeling my passion. This is not like frustration. I am very passionate about people not letting go of the idea of what is your own idea. So, do your thing. But if you have an original idea, baby, chase it down and go get it.
All they can do is tell you no. And guess what? No is not something to be scared of.
Right. Just like you said about failure. Failure is a process. It's, Kela, you said some real bomb stuff today. Like I wrote down a lot. And I'm going to
Kela, when I tell you Kela actually, she was the anchor of the show today because she said the real shit. Like,
I mean, I think
cannot be scared to fail. You have to know that failure is a part of success.
And
yeah.
these
You have
kids
to
are
know
scared
that.
to fail. These kids have a thinner skin. They have
Well,
like,
because we give trophies for everybody now.
right. And so in business, I think even in business, the system for our children is to see the process of what happens is when you're creating stuff. Even when you're painting, like a beautiful painting, a lot of times I see a lot of artists where that first painting like goes boom, and then they'll repaint over top of it and start again. So I just think it's really important for people to understand that it's a wonderful thing to be able to have your own business. But understand in that wonderful thing, it's like you're just gonna have some frustrating times, but it's a part of it. And I think that if we celebrate that that's a part of it, if you tell kids like, yo, be a model, but you know, girl, you might fall down the runway. It's okay, get back up, do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna make you a better model. Like it's in every aspect of any challenge. If we celebrate not failure, but the process of getting to the top of whatever you do, which is not being number one. And that's another thing. In business, your goal should not be to be number one. Your goal is to be the best number one of you. Your competition really is yourself. And once you get to the place that you have conquered yourself and know what your business is, then you get into the game. And the game is about just making sure you're not blockbusters and being stupid and don't follow the trend.
Right.
You gotta be smart. KFC, everybody now all of a sudden, Burger King, come on here, Burger King. Let's talk about an original idea in a different way.
But I have to hold on before
I'm
you.
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I have to kind of push back a little bit on the original thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that we don't necessarily, like I was saying before, where we are just going into the past and seeing what other people have done and then putting our own spin on it. Like you use the Wiz for an example, that is actually just, it's the Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? That they adapted for Black people. And so it's not an original thought, but it is the way that they did it. They put their stuff on it because anybody could have done that. But that cast and crew was like, that's what makes it special. You are what makes any type of idea special because there aren't original thoughts unless you're innovating. For example, this goddamn phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That would be a new innovation, but even still, it's not because the telephone had already been made. It's still coming from how do we communicate between two people over a device. So what I'm saying is you are what makes it original. So I just had to push back on that a little bit because I don't think that there are really original thoughts. There are just people adapting their uniqueness to that thought.
Right, and I agree with that, but I just blocked the opportunity for the original thought to come because if you think that something can't come, then that's absurd. And I think a lot of times when we do have these conversations, we have to make sure that those points are put out there. Like you said, The Wiz is a repeat, and that's not the best example because that's just my passion. But finding an original thought is not me saying find it, but if you have something that you've never seen before, don't be afraid of it. Yes. Don't be afraid of the opportunity to do it because a lot of times it's just not going to get support like you want it because people don't understand that that's okay. Like even, you know, we look at RuPaul and different things like that. There were people before RuPaul. We're already going to have our ancestry as far as like people that do things before. But I just hope that one day that we start getting to the place where people are okay with, I've never seen this before, so I'm going to just do it.
But people got to be okay with doing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not expected. You have to be able to be okay with knowing people are not going to like it. Some people are going to like it. You have to be okay with whatever you're doing in any kind of business that you do. I don't care if you're doing hair. I don't care if you're doing music. I don't care if you're doing comedy. I don't care what you're doing. You have to be comfortable with people not liking it.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And I think we're in that place.
Because everything is not for everybody. Everything is not for everybody. I've had several times where I've had people, oh, I saw this and I want to really try to get you at my location. Cool. Here's the price point. Here's the breakdown. Oh, Oh, yeah.
Now you say oh. Now you say oh.
That's not what you see is not cheap. And I will not accept anything less than what I know what I'm worth plus tax. I mean, I'm not gonna play that game.
Plus tax, yes.
I'm not gonna play that game anymore. And look, it took somebody on this panel to make me say, what? Why are you, what, really? All right. You're the one they come see.
Right.
And I was like, all right. And she was like, look, let's do this and sit back and watch and see what happened. And I was like, look.
Plus tax, that's my thing.
Doing this. This is how we're doing it. And the only way I'm going to come is if we do it like this. Okay. I was like.
That easy.
Yes, profit plus tax, bro. Plus tax.
I love that part. Plus tax. That's it.
Exactly. So I'm not for everybody. Y'all, some people can afford Burger King. Some people want Ruth Chris. I mean, you want Ruth Chris, you're going to have to pay for Ruth Chris.
Yeah,
maybe you in the in-between. Go get Papa those. I would say.
And I mean, that says nothing about you because, for example, I hate Samsung. That damn Android is the bane of my existence and I have to work with it all the time. It's the worst phone that I've ever even
I love it.
This thing is so damn stupid. However,
I just wish I had a new phone. What about that?
However, it really is a great phone and people find lots of use with it, and it has a lot of value, and it is really a great phone, one of the top phones. So just because I don't, imagine if Samsung was like, damn, Kela don't like that shit. I don't think I could do this.
Wouldn't that be crazy though? Samsung was like, she don't like it, I'm done.
Hey, just a side note, the people of Fiverr and the people of Samsung, if y'all listening, we've given y'all some free publicity.
Give us a Samsung. I'll be your hoe. I got
it. Damn, bro. Really?
You know what I mean?
Really, bro?
Right.
Apply that to your own life.
Exactly.
Just have to put that out there, though. Like, Fiverr, Samsung, we got y'all. Holla at us.
Yeah. And everybody doesn't belong in business, and that is okay.
And that's real facts.
And people don't realize it until you won't even realize it until you do it. And that is okay.
Right.
That is okay.
You know what? You may be, and this is what I found that some people don't realize. All right. You may be qualified enough to be a part of someone's business doing that task, but you yourself just may not be ready to be the business. And so I have a friend of mine, he has been rapping forever, okay? Forever. And I had a conversation with him and I was like, okay, nobody is signing MCs your age anymore. Do I agree that your lyrical content is fire? Yes. So, because I'm not saying you can't do it, because keep pushing. But you also need to look at some other aspects of how you can get your foot in the door and still have your creativity loved. So he is a fire writer. You need to start going into ghostwrite for people. Yeah. Write full songs for people. Because these mumble rappers right now, they can't put it together. They don't do it right. So go write some bars. Go write some hooks. Go construct a song. Do that. Maybe that's what you need to do because this particular individual may not make it. You've been doing it for this long and you've been trying all these things that you saw or read on how to do it. This might not be your thing in this aspect. Yeah. Try another door.
And that's a real hard thing. And that's the part that our young people have to know, because I know it personally. You have to understand it's so sensitive when you give, this goes back to people, when you're really dedicated to something and you really want it and you're doing everything you can do and you just feel like it's just not working out. You have to recognize the signs early. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what you're around. If you're in a city or a state that is just not supporting the way you look, the way you are, your culture, you need to move. Like these are the things that I learned super late and didn't realize. Like you got to go. Like, my man says, James Baldwin, where your blood beats. You have to go where people are beating the same blood as you. A lot of times you don't become successful because the environment that you're in,
Yes.
you refuse to leave it because it is home. It is very comfortable. And it's unfair that people tend to not do it, but you got to go find your tribe. You got to go find people that absolutely are in the same mindset and thinking. And if that means packing up and going, then do it. And I'm talking like I'm in 3D time. Like that's it. That's where my life is right now. 3D time. You got to go where your blood.
If that's what you plan on doing.
Is that what you plan on doing?
You need to search out the market that you plan on moving to.
Right.
Yep.
Considering to make sure that that's an avenue that you could go down. If you are considering actually moving and going to a different place, okay, what's the market look like there? Is there a lane for me if I move there?
Right.
What would business look like if I decided to take that route?
Correct.
Are my products going to sell? Yeah. Am I able to market myself and actually get out in this industry and be a face for it? How does all that work?
Right.
You research on that part. Right. Don't be afraid of, like they were saying, people telling you no. Don't be afraid of failure. Everything's not going to work the first time.
Right.
You got to
kind
of to a level playing field, write out what your ideas are and try to execute them. If it don't work, that's okay. You can go back to the drawing board.
Right.
Right.
But write out what you're thinking. So at least you're like, okay, oh, here's where I went wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Let me go back and try this.
Right.
You know, there's always YouTube University. Because I
Come on.
I don't want a lot on YouTube.
I go to YouTube a lot too.
So you can always learn something from someone else. You're not going to know all the answers. People in your circle may not have all the answers. It's okay to look outside of yourself and look outside of your circle to try and find more information in order to make sure you're more knowledgeable about whatever subject it is that you're trying to be the expert at. Because you didn't become people who are experts didn't become the experts by just following their own rights and just following their own mind. That's why a lot of us went to school.
Yeah.
Which is why you're in school.
Right.
Because your teacher's great test. Like, that shit was wrong. I don't know what you was thinking about. The answer was B. You should have did this. Oh.
Right.
So it's a learning process. Life is a learning process. But if you are trying to go into business for yourself, cool. Make a plan. You need a business plan.
Right.
You need an operating agreement.
Right.
You need to figure out how to brand yourself. You need to do your market research. You need to figure out it's okay if I don't do all this shit right.
Yeah.
Because I can still be successful at something else.
Yeah. So this sounds like Candice has started up our roundabout. All I need her to say is wash your hands, wash your ass, and she
say it.
Exactly. Because it's still a global pandemic, and apparently your president still hasn't conceded. So
not my president.
Maybe around we'll figure out who's going to be, the baby daddy next 4 years. I don't know. We'll figure out at some point in time. But in the meantime, wash your hands and wash your ass and protect your babies and yourself and watch your six, because it's some people that still feeling froggy because they didn't get the election turnout
they wanted.
Yeah.
Yes. So roundabout. Look, Candice already started us off. Roundabout. Last words. KB.
This nigga still twerking, man. This nigga been twerking for like 5 minutes.
Him and
my last word is, no matter what, I'm learning, don't be afraid of you. Don't be afraid of you. I mean, that is probably the worst thing that we have created in ourselves, is we have become fearful who we are. and we hang around people that don't allow us to find out who we are. And then in turn, we become what people want us to be. And so we walk around clones of someone else. So it's really the biggest risk is like saying, you know what, can I honestly find out who I am? And then that is your first business. Your first business is self. And then after you find that out, then you can create whatever you want. So that's what I'm realizing now. So,
Love it. Love it. Miss Kela Mahogany.
All right, y'all. Number one, can we have a show about how we need to stop celebrating Thanksgiving? Can we have an honest conversation about this?
well, what you want to say?
I don't need to cancel it. It needs to be
do a show about it.
No longer need to celebrate it. It just needs to go by the wayside. Whatever.
Well, I wouldn't even know why, because I'm ignorant to why. I wouldn't even know. So that's a good way to find.
Well, I understand why, but I just like to eat.
Yes, we can. We gotta call it something else because we gotta justify that.
I don't want to rebrand it. I don't want to do none of that.
But we gotta have that day off. I'm supposed to go to work.
No, you can have the day off.
Oh,
I
okay.
still want to eat.
I'm talking about no more happy Thanksgiving. Let them have their Thanksgiving. It's not for us.
They can have it.
Well, I have to find out what it's about because I don't even know what it's about. I just know that Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving is my sister's birthday, so I have a. That would be a replace.
Savannah's sister's birthday. That's
so that would be my replace. It's her birthday.
I'm fine with that. I'm gonna celebrate your sister's birthday.
Twerksgiving.
Still twerking.
Twerksgiving.
We can still twerk it. I said it.
Ooh, twerking. Giving thanks that you twerk.
Happy Twerksgiving.
That's your body.
Kela, please finish. Please finish your roundabout.
KB, you said about being your authentic self. If you want to take a test, I think drphil.com, they still have it on there. He has a test about being your authentic self. Go ahead, go on that website, search it. It was back when I was probably like 26 years old. I read something on there, and it really does help you center to start to think about you.
Okay.
I was brought up to think about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And to please everybody else. And so when I read that, took that little test and started to look at me and ask myself certain questions, then I was able to live a more authentic life to me. Because there's nothing wrong with being selfish. It can be a bad thing like anything else that you take too far, but being selfish is not a bad thing because you got to take care of you first.
That's a word.
So is it called the Big Five test?
I looked up authentic, like Google's Dr. Phil being your authentic self.
Okay.
And when it comes to business, with, we talked about failures and mistakes and things like that. If you come to a point, because not every, body will come to this point with their business, but if you come to a point where, you're thinking about closing, you're thinking about shutting your doors, stopping your business legally and all that stuff. If your first thought is how someone else will feel about it, you're already wrong. You should be thinking about you, how it affects your life, how it affects your finances, how it affects your business, and is this still a viable business? You are the boss, you are the owner, you are the CEO. These are your choices. And if you have shareholders and stakeholders and stuff like that, but you have to decide that for yourself because you can really kill yourself trying to make a business that is failing work.
Okay.
So love yourselves, take care of yourselves. All of this shit is fake. So yeah.
It's the Matrix. No, sorry.
All of this shit is fake.
All right, Mr. Tyrone Greggory.
Okay, listen. Number one, Tyrone Greggory, comedy. I am a comedian. I am for hire. Please believe that. My catchphrase is 3x5 because I write shit down on 3x5 cards because I can't make this shit up. It's real fucking life. So, as we were talking, I wrote down a lot of positive shit that y'all said. All of y'all. All four of y'all. I love y'all to death. But I'm going to start with this. I got told by a person on this panel to start a Word document of all my accomplishments to help me with my business. That is key in business because people want to know what you've done, and you have to remember what you've done. Sometimes you've done so much that you don't even remember what the fuck you did. Write it the fuck down. It's really that simple. I had to learn that. Go back to what Dizzy said with the elevator thing. Be able to describe yourself. Please be able to describe yourself. Describe what your business is. Describe what you are about and do it quickly. Be assertive. These are all on my 3x5s. I'm not bullshitting with y'all. Your team. Your team needs to be smarter than you. Period, point blank. When you have a business, your team needs to be smarter than you. They need to know things that you don't know, so that way they can help you know and grow. Period. Anybody disagree with that? Okay.
Don't talk to me like
this is a cabana. This is a cabana right here. You are only battling yourself. You're not battling anybody. It's your business. Who the fuck you battling with your business?
Be your own competition.
There you go.
Beyonce.
Exactly, sis. Straight up. And you have to find your tribe. I like that. When I heard that, that was dope. You have to find your tribe. You have to go out there and find people that are like-minded, not yes people. You don't want yes people in your crew. You want like-minded people in your crew. That's the way you get better. You can't be scared. Like I said, fear is the manifestation of procrastination. That's what fear is.
I like it. That's true.
Fear is the manifestation of procrastination because once you get scared, you stop. Don't be scared. Keep going. Just keep going. Don't procrastinate. And once again, going back to that, you cannot be scared to be scared in business. You will do your best business when you are scared of what you're walking into. If you trust and believe in yourself, you're going to walk in there. You're going to be scared to walk in there. And you're going to pitch your idea. And people might tell you no. They might tell you yeah. But see, you can't be scared. Once again, going back to that no. You can't be scared of the no. You got to walk in there. And it's going to be fearful. But you can't be scared to be scared. The most brilliant ideas happened from someone being scared. And they walked in there and did it anyway. I promise you that. I promise you that. And you have to find your way out of no way.
Sorry. Goddamn, Kela.
I don't know what just happened with y'all.
That's my fault. That's my fault. God.
I don't know what.
I mean,
So did y'all just pull a last week on me?
No, I didn't do
I'm in
anything.
timeout.
Kela's on time.
Kela in timeout. Back to the boss lady. Amen.
But this is actually something I picked up from what Cabana said. You have to find a way out of no way.
Yeah.
You have to pick yourself up. You gotta do it. So when it comes to business, all 5 of these faces y'all see on the screen, we all find a way to make it happen.
Gotcha.
And you have to do that too.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet. Elevator speech, get it together, because it's necessary. We talked about a lot of stuff today. I believe that we dropped quite a few jewels on all of you, from everything from marketing to branding to finances and to just and also the uh-ohs. Hey, don't let these things happen to you. So I appreciate that these 5 minds got together today to discuss this podcast with you. But there was one thing that I was thought about throughout all of this, to make sure I pass on to everyone. Protect your intellectual property.
Ooh,
So
that's a whole nother show, Dizzy.
Nah, it's not. It's this sentence.
Amen.
Trademark, patent, copyright.
Boom.
Everything. Because
Yeah.
until you got that, your idea is my idea.
That part. I can take your shit.
And you can't prove it otherwise.
Sure
to be
can.
perfectly honest, it's kind of how this podcast came to part.
Amen. Amen.
Copyright, patent, trademark, everything. The name of the business, your contracts, your logos, everything. Make sure you take care of yourself, your idea, your business. This is What You Got to Say. We love you all, and we out.
Bye.
Go ahead, Cuckabana. Body, yada, 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 yada. Hey, body, yada, 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 yada.